All right, let's get this party started.
Let's do it.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the very first episode of Wildman's Wildlife Podcast. I'm your host, Wildman Mark. Uh, just a little background on myself. I've been working in the animal industry since 2006. I've worked at the Philadelphia Zoo, I've worked at Philadelphia Animal Control, SPCA, and I've been a wildlife control operator for the past 13 years. While I've been a wildlife control operator, I have been an innovator and educator. I own and created Wildman products. We make a bunch of squirrel traps, one-way doors, things of that nature. And I created the very first metal fabrication course for exclusion work, Get Ben Academy. It's a basic metal fabrication course. It teaches people to bend and manipulate metal for the purpose of exclusion work. Um, I'm also the Eastern Director of the Pennsylvania Nuisance Wildlife Control Operators Association. It's a new association in Pennsylvania. So if you're in Pennsylvania, you're a wildlife control operator, ask me for information, look us up, join us. We're trying to build a big following, have a conference coming up this year. And together we're going to be, learning some skills and going through some things in Pennsylvania. Now, what we're here to talk about is this September 23rd and 24th, AAC is going to be throwing a conference. And at that conference, the Wolf Foundation is going to be there. And I'm going to be there too. I'm going to be teaching Get Ben Academy the 25th and 26th. So I have decided half the proceeds of Get Ben Academy are going to go to the Wolf Foundation. I decided that I want to give back to the Wolf Foundation. Tony Siri, one of the founding members of the Wolf Foundation, is a great guy. He invited me to the conference last year. I taught at the conference. It was a great experience. It was a great time. He throws fireworks, food, cruises. I mean, this guy, you name it, it's going on. It's a Tony Siri throws a great conference, probably the best conference that I've ever been to. And if you're going there, and it's your first time, you're going to have a great time. Um, Also, while you're there, there's going to be some vendors and there's going to be raffles. There's going to be raffles for wolves. So if you're going to the conference, be prepared to buy some raffles and win some stuff and help the foundation. I myself, I'm going to be donating a Ben Bandit. It's a 3 foot break from Vanmark with a trim cutter and some stands. It's probably about a $2,000 value that I'm donating, and it's going to be one of the raffles. And so if you're attending the conference, play the game, give some money for the raffles, take a chance to win some good stuff. Um, and if you're not, even if you're not going there, give back to the industry, help out the Wolf Foundation. But we're going to learn some things about the Wolf Foundation and see, how it's been benefiting our industry and how it's going to continue to benefit our industry. So, without further ado, I give you Jay Vincent, one of the board members of the Wolf Foundation, my good friend, also the owner of Smart Wildlife Solutions or Smart Solutions Wildlife, getting that name all backwards. There you
There
go.
you go.
But you, why don't you introduce yourself, Jay, and tell us a little bit about what you got going on?
Awesome, man. I'm super excited, Mark. I'm so glad you decided to be a big giver. We're lucky to have you and look forward to seeing you, man. And super excited about the conference. So before I get in and talk about me, definitely uh, get your guns on next year, guys, who for our listeners to go. The thing sells out quick. I mean, I think it sold out within 30 days. And very cool thing is a lot of those pros, it's our biggest fundraiser that we have all year for Wolf. And so we do, like you said, we have a raffle, we've got an auction. There's some top-notch speakers that come in. I believe they got Seth Garber coming in again this year, along with a lot of other big hitters. And it is single-handedly my favorite networking event for wildlife control operators all year long. It's just very intimate, mostly owner operators, and I've just met a lot of really wonderful people there. And so, just a little background on me. I've been a wildlife control operator for 26 years. I started in this industry in 1999. Started Smart Solutions wildlife removal, and now we do pest control and termite and other things. Going on 19 years ago, about 18 years ago. So I started my company right around when you got into the industry, Mark. And so it's been a long ride. I love to serve people. That's the reason why I got into doing just being in the service industry. I went to school to be a wildlife biologist back in the 90s. I graduated with a biology degree and I immediately got into the pest and wildlife industry. And then so fast forward to Wolf, I was asked to come aboard last year and I was just super excited. Tony Siri asked me to step in to be a board member, and it's magical what they do. In my mind, it's pretty divinely organized. Tony's an awesome guy. Yeah, so I'm super happy to be involved with that. We've been helping people. It seems like we're getting applicants almost every month now, which is bringing more awareness to what we do. And we're just so happy we get to help operators and their families that are either injured, unfortunate, or whatever is going on where they really do need some help. So that's our main goal and mission is to help people um, and their families. And we're still trying to build awareness. So I'm so happy about your decision to cover this on this podcast because one of the challenges behind when you get hurt is you don't really know that anything like this exists. So, uh, pretty cool stuff. Anything else that you want to ask me about Wolf or myself, or I'm happy to answer any questions for you.
So when we talked about the founding members, so who got this whole thing started?
So I know that Tracy and Carla Sullivan are really at the epicenter of this thing, and same with Tony's series. So those are the founding members. I know that Chris Sims also was pretty integral in the formation of the organization. And I don't know if you know Chris's story, but it's very, very powerful. And if you go on the
Yeah,
Wolf Foundation's website, you can hear Chris and Chris's story. So,
yeah, I remember Chris Sims because I my first expo that I went to, him and his wife were speaking at that expo,
mhm.
and that was a holy crap moment, because we take it for granted what we do out here in the field. It's a very dangerous job, and you know you get overconfident. A lot of times we get overconfident. This is something that we do every day. We allow ourselves to get distracted, and the littlest thing, and boom, and it changes your life. And that speech that Chris Sims gave, and meeting his wife and everything, gave me a whole new perspective as far as how I need to be treating my day to day, and how important it is to not take for granted what we have, because one little misstep can change your life forever.
Hmm. Yeah, that story is pretty powerful. I think I was at that expo too. Was that in 2017 in New Orleans, or was that your
I
first one?
believe the one I'm talking about was in Myrtle Beach.
Myrtle Beach, got it. Cool. I was probably at that one too, but yeah, Chris went around and told his story to build awareness, and then this thing just kind of spawned out of that. And boy, I tell you, I know there's struggles and challenges that they went through with that. Chris lives in Georgia, and we talk from time to time. And I'm sure he would have loved to have had an outlet like that, him and his wife, when she got hurt the way she did. But that, they struggled through that. And that's what we're trying to prevent. We're trying to help with bills and essentials so you can eventually go back to your business and your business can stay afloat. That's our main purpose. Because I mean, when you're a single operator, you get hurt. I mean, and that's all your means of income. that can be devastating.
So, what is exactly the mission? That's the mission to help wildlife control operators, right? When they get injured, or from what I understand, it goes well beyond, you know, well beyond that.
It could be injury, it could be illness. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? There could be family members who are affected, by something they got impacted by their loved one or whatever that was in the industry. I mean, it's pretty multifaceted. I mean, we do have an application and obviously we need to vote on it, but it is becoming more, the spectrum is widening.
Right.
But I mean, our mission is to help as many people as possible build the awareness of the foundation so we can uh, get more donors to help more people. It started out really slow, but now it's getting pretty exciting with what we're doing. I mean,
Yeah. When did this thing start?
it started in July of 2023.
Okay.
And I remember when they actually launched it, they put out a post on Facebook and there was a donation post, right? And so
Right.
I went to click the button and it didn't work. So I hit up Chris Sims. I'm like, yo, dude, the button doesn't work on the donation link. And I think I was one of the first donors. So
Right.
I was so super excited about it that I wanted to give right away. Just put it on my heart to give right away, kind of like you're getting involved now. And so I hope this propels more people that are involved with some other organizations to be aligned with Wolf.
I mean, really, how can you not get involved if you're a wildlife control operator? I know it's on my mind a lot when I'm out there. I'm not Superman over here. And I just think I have thought about it for years, like what happens
Mm.
if I fall? What happens if I get injured, or if I die here? A lot of wildlife control operators, and myself included, I don't have an insurance plan and all that going on. So if something happens, you know, God forbid if I die, I mean, I don't have anything to worry about. I'm with the Lord, but then my family suffers.
Mm.
And it's always that what if that is in the back of my mind. And it's good to know that there is people out there, and there's this foundation that has the solo operators back. Because a lot of times we don't have these resources to spend, you know, tens of thousands of dollars for insurance, or for the savings account be plush for the what if. There's so many wildlife control operators out there that are just going from job to job, and they don't really have a backup plan. And this is really nice to know that something like Wolf exists out there.
Yeah, the ironically enough, my first experience with someone getting injured on the job is when I worked for a larger conglomerate back in the 90s, in the late 90s, early 2000s, and our safety director actually fell off of a stepladder and broke his ball and socket joint on his shoulder, broke his hip. I mean, I'm talking on a stepladder, getting on a ranch roof. And he didn't have his phone on him, and he laid in that yard until those people got home.
Wow.
And he was the safety director of the company. So that just tells you that nobody's really safe, and make sure you always have your phone on you. That's hugely important to make sure you have your phone on you. And so that's just was my first brush with, holy cow, like I could really seriously injure myself doing this. And I'm sure that we've all got our close call ladder stories and aerial lift stories. But I also have one of those. The first week I was on the job, I almost got ejected out of a 80-foot lift.
Wow.
Um, my supervisor of the same company, and I have a really good relationship with this company. This was just really weird stuff that was going on, and it can happen. It doesn't mean that they were either bad or good. It just mistakes happen. And first week on the job, we were on a commercial bat job. We were driving the lift in the air. My supervisor was driving it in the air, probably a little too high. We miscalculated a curb, and back then there wasn't as many safety features on it, and he broke his sternum. I hit against the bucket, and it was scared the living you know what out of us. I mean, I was just thinking, what the heck did I get myself into, man?
Were you tied in?
We were definitely tied in, or
Okay,
we would not have been alive. Yeah.
right.
So,
Yeah, my first experience is on a lift. I got up there and I'm always working on ladders and I didn't know any better. The company, they don't check any background or anything as far as whether we know how to operate a lift. They're like, yeah, here's the controls. You do this, you do that, you do that, and you're good to go. And he just gives me a lift and I I'm like, this is great. I got a nice working platform, can get exactly where I need to go. I'm taking pictures. I posted on Facebook, and boy, the comments, they started going at me immediately. Where's your harness? And me being stupid, I'm what do you need a harness for? I'm in this safe little platform here. What could go wrong? And I got people chewing me out, my friends left and right saying, "Hey, dummy, you need to put on a harness when you're in a lift because those hydraulic pumps they can give out on you, and you're gonna wish that you had one on."
hmm, yeah. Well, we've all done silly stuff. We just don't put it on Facebook. And like with the way safety has come so far,
Yeah,
uh, but definitely OSHA 10 and OSHA 30 courses are very valuable. And since then, I've taken them, and I've been in several different types of lifts, and they're all a little different. They all have a little kind of a weird little nuance when it comes to the safety mechanism that's on it. Whether you need to step on the pedal and wait a second before you use the controls. Typically, that's how a lot of them are. There's like a delay
yeah.
just in case you accidentally step on the pedal. It kind of wants to know. And then if, God forbid, if you get off balance, then it won't even let you go up or down, and that's frustrating. But I know we're getting off on a wormhole there. So,
Oh no, we're good. Wormholes are good. I'm also grateful for the other courses that have come out, the elevated tasks, Keith Markin. And, give a shout out to Keith. I know you know a lot about the working at heights and everything, but really grateful for that resource for having, the working at heights course out there for people to learn and to stay safe. That's been uh, a massive help for the industry. Keith Mark is a phenomenal teacher. I've taken the level one. I'm looking forward to taking the level two, but
mhm.
I haven't done much of the rope work. I know you do more of the rope work and working at heights than I do. I'm a little bit more gravity challenged than you are. You know,
Well, Keith has been a pretty good mentor and all that. Before I met him, I had a limited knowledge. Chris Sims also has a lot of knowledge, but one of the neat things about the raffle for Wolf at AAC is that I donated a couple of descent harnesses last year.
nice.
Like a couple of these setups were $800 setups with all the gear that are with, and so this year we're going to have some more goodies to donate. So the cool thing is you get to bring home safety equipment with you when you go to the conference, and you get to learn about Wolf, and those two go hand in hand. So yeah, Keith's course is amazing. He came to teach the first one at my facility. The first time that he taught part one was at our facility. And I believe this first time he taught part two, I think we might have been the second stop on the map. But we just happened to be close to Orlando when the expo was in Orlando, he was able to just kind of shoot straight up.
Yeah, yeah. I'm excited for taking the part two. I haven't done any rappelling since I was 13. So this is going to be definitely like a brand new experience for me because when it comes to any type of rope descent, I've usually been the guy that's like, no, no, just call somebody else. I'm too fond of my feet being on the ground rather than doing that stuff. But I think with having that available to the industry, it's opened me up to new experiences. But
Absolutely.
you know. So let's get back to talking about Wolf here. So how many people have benefited from Wolf so far?
So it's funny you should ask that. I didn't know the answer to that question, so I'm not going to act like I did know, because it's been quite a few. But I did reach out to the board, and I know that it's been over 10 people now in, just a little bit over 2 years. And so first year was kind of slow going with awareness. We've helped a lot of people in
Right,
the last year, and we've actually had more complicated cases come across our desks. And I feel like we're voting on stuff almost every month now where we are allocating funds to new people or existing people that need to have extensions. And you know, one of the caveats behind helping people is a lot of, if not most of them, want to remain anonymous. And just for, I mean, I can understand kind of why you would want to remain anonymous. So we are definitely in need of more testimonials, but I mean, we can't break anonymity of any of our people that we're helping, And so it honestly kind of makes it more, um, in my mind, it makes it to where we're not doing it for us, obviously, So the fact that we really don't have any testimonials, it's 100% um, just service and giving to others without anything attached, without any attaboy, pat on the back, any of that kind of stuff. And that's really not why you should give anyways. It's just, we're looking forward to getting more testimonials to help spread awareness, more of the realness of like, look, this could happen to you. This stuff
right.
is real, and you need to start thinking about safety, and you need to start thinking about your future, and you also need to know that we're here for you. If you get hurt, please reach out. If you have an illness or something going on with your family, please reach out to us. We want to help.
So so I remember at the conference last year they did have uh, that one testimonial. I mean that was powerful there. It was real tearjerker. You know, a lot of people were impacted by seeing that and seeing how much she appreciated the help from the foundation and what that meant to her for having that source of income and that relief.
Mhm.
Um, so how can people get involved? Besides showing up to the conference, buying some raffles and everything. But how can we get other people involved? Because I'd like to introduce this not only to the wildlife industry, but to other people out there. Because we're wildlife control operators, but we serve everyone out there, and it would be nice if we can get more exposure out there and see how people can get involved with bringing some money to the foundation.
So one of the things you can do is you can become a regular donor.
Hmm.
You can set up auto pay. You can go to supportwolf.org and reach out to us and email us and just find out how to get more involved. We're happy to send out any sort of information, or if you wanted to, you know, um, like for me, what I wanted to do is bring Wolf to a convention here in Georgia. We were going to set up one of our, a booth at a convention, and I also wanted to have a little spin-off booth with Wolf. And so we are starting to do more other events, to try to get people more involved with giving. Because we've got other sides to our industry. We've got fur trappers and not just wildlife control operators that are, climbing on roofs, but we've got fur trappers that you don't know, that's a whole nother industry and bridge to kind of cross. And then we've got dual operators. We've got pest and wildlife control operators. Now there's a lot of people are getting into doing wildlife control. So we're having to kind of broaden our scope, but go to supportwolf.org, you know, reach out to us, find out how to become involved. I know that Tony does a ton of giving. There is months where he will donate proceeds from people that purchase from AAC to Wolf. And that's something that, our company has been involved with giving as well. So you can give part of your bottom line if you feel passionate enough to do that. I think that what better of a cause, if you're making a profit in your business, donating to good causes to build your awareness in the community, what you stand for, what your purpose is outside of making money. Because there is definitely more to life than just making money.
Absolutely. You can't store up your treasures on earth.
Yeah, there's something that and again, I feel like it's ordained that Tony got involved. Tracy and Carla are awesome. Jack Waterway's another member who's a super good guy. Mike Siri is also an amazing dude. And all of them are very passionate. All of them are very giving of their time and of their money. And any of us would be glad to help you. So if you just reach out, you can find all of us on socials too. We're all pretty involved with the industry groups.
So if somebody needs help as well, they can also go to supportwolf.org.
Yeah, supportwolf.org.
I was about to say .com. It's
But if
.org.
you just look up
And
Wildlife Operator Living Fund, it'll pop up too. But if you search Wolf, there's other organizations called Wolf. So
yeah, I was doing it, and I saw there is a bunch of organizations, but this is the Wildlife Operators Living Fund, not one of those other.
correct.
But we can put the link on the bottom on the YouTube page so that this way people can click that link at the bottom and then go directly to the website and can make a contribution to help out. So this conference, man, I'm excited. I'm excited to go to this conference. It's going to be a lot of stuff going on. So
Me too,
I
man.
didn't even realize before about the conference that the whole purpose of it was to help fund Wolf. I mean, Tony does it real big for the organization. I'm telling you.
Yeah, and there's some big givers that go there. I mean, because I worked the table last year, and my eyes were coming out of my head. I just kept watching people coming up and just donating, playing the raffle. Tony gives away, I think he's given away 20 tubes of Ridge Guard this go around. And so the value on that is crazy if you do the math on that.
Oh yeah.
Not only the material cost, but how much ridge you could run with that and what that capability is. And there's one gentleman that I'm not going to give him a shout out on here, but he buys a ton of tickets. In the last 2 years in a row, I believe he's won at least 5 tubes, if not more.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's worth
I'll tell
his.
you one thing. If I see those harnesses on the table, I'll be buying tickets for those harnesses.
Well, I'm glad you reminded me about that. I need to get busy on that. We're blessed to have a GME supply, Columbia Supply in Atlanta, which there's only two of them in the US that I know of. Super cool company. They will come and they'll come to a job site and help you write uh, site hazard evaluation, a safety plan. And they also do Sprat training and stuff, which is where I got some of my training from. But I go to them, and you can go to their facility and try out all the gear. They got walls and stuff, and you can hang and whatever you want, and then you can buy it. So, like, if you don't like it, you're not stuck with it. And so I went there and tried out a bunch of stuff and landed on a few that I really like. And so I donated two of those last year. I plan on doing the same this year, similar, some sort of safety equipment. I haven't figured it out yet.
Well, if you get one for big boys, you count your lucky stars that I'll be putting some raffle tickets on it.
Dude, I'm so glad you mentioned that because what I need to do is really just buy a gift card to GME Supply and maybe give us a few suggestions because last year we did have a challenge we did buy a couple different sizes and we were able to make it work.
Right.
One size does not fit all. So
No,
we got to probably work on that this year.
you get Bigfoot like me coming over there trying to
Yeah.
put on one of those regular harnesses. It gets a little snug in certain areas.
Yeah.
You got to make sure you get the right adjustments.
Yeah, that could be haphazard in other areas if you put on too small of a harness. So you don't want that to happen.
No, no. Got to make sure that you got the proper circulation and fit it right for those harnesses. Otherwise you'll be going to the Wolf Foundation for another reason.
Well, let's hope you don't get hurt in your safety equipment. That would be,
Right.
yeah, that might raise a red flag with us. I'm just kidding. I don't know.
So I mean, we talk about a bunch of stuff, but this course that I'm going to be holding over there, this 2 day course. I
Mhm.
mean, I'm really passionate about Get Ben Academy and what I do with it. And of course, when we get into things as far as business, we do it to make money, right? But one of the benefits that I've had, or satisfaction that I've had for starting Get Ben Academy, is knowing that I'm helping other wildlife control operators go to the next level, step up their game. Because as you know, I mean, you yourself, you're an excellent metal fabricator. I show off your work all the time in my class as, one of the metal masters in the industry. And there's a lot of guys out there that wish they could get up to your level and to do work like that. So I kind of created this course as the basic foundation to get people to learn metal fabrication, get the fundamental skills so they can reach that level. Because if you don't get the fundamentals down with metal work, I mean, you're you're not going to get to that level. You can't. That's not a skill that you can fake it till you make it. If you can't cut straight, if you can't measure straight, you got to learn the skills and develop the skills so you can be able to manipulate the metal and then get it in there just right. So, one of the things that I take pride in is being able to help newer operators or operators that haven't had much experience with construction work get up to that level or start working to that level.
Mhm.
I've taught over 200 students by now. I had no idea there were so many people in the industry that you know didn't know how didn't know how to do this. So I take pride in being able to teach, to educate, and to help people. So Tony Siri, he's a good guy. He gave me the opportunity to go over to his facility. So I'm looking forward to giving back. I mean, the course, it's 2 day course, it's pretty much 80% hands on. We do a little bit of classroom time in the beginning, and then we're all hands on work. I teach gable returns, soffit returns, scribing, uh, offset pieces. You know, I developed this tower. I got to show you when we're at the conference. But I developed this tower that covers several different skills, and then if you apply those skills that I teach you, you can deal with a whole lot of scenarios in the field. But the course is $900 to take the course, and like I said, 50% is going to go to Wolf. So if anybody signs up for the course, that's going to be a $450 donation for each student that goes to the course. And we have 30. We are we have about 20 spots left. We I can do 30 students. The teachers that we're going to have there is Bob Meekin. You've met Bob before, right?
It sounds familiar. I
Yeah,
say for
I
sure.
yeah, he's an operator out of New York,
Okay.
and he's an excellent metal fabricator teaching exclusion work. He's part of you know he's part of the old guard that these guys were one of uh like you were one of the first that started utilizing metal for exclusion
Mhm.
work. And I'm honored to be able to have the chance to even work with them. And then my brother's going to be there as well. I'm hoping one day I could sneak you in as an educator as well, so you can share your wealth of knowledge.
Man,
But
y'all show me up, man. I've been watching the stuff you've been doing, dude. That's pretty next level. I was very impressed with that video you put up the other day with the time lapse on it.
yeah,
Yeah, that was some slick stuff, man. Even building the little gable eyebrow and everything that you did. That's
yeah,
tough. It's tough to do
yeah.
that.
All this is fundamentals. And
Yeah.
the thing is if you take the course, the way that I teach everything,
Hmm.
it gives you the recipe to figure out those areas like that. Because obviously, recreating that situation in a classroom is difficult.
Mhm.
But the skills that I teach throughout the course are the same skills that I use to do a corner like that. It's just
Mhm.
taking your time, knowing how to measure, and knowing where to put your marks to get it done right. That's why I took a lot of time when we first did the course developing it so that we can be able to fit in as many skills as possible as fundamentals to get people on the right track to get to that next level.
Mhm.
Uh, so I'm excited. I'm excited for it, and I have been working on the next level that's going to be the advanced course
You
for
were
get
telling me
Medicaid.
that. Yeah, I remember you shot me a message asking for some suggestions. I've got a few if we ever circle back around to that. And I to expound on your point where, you want to bring people from like New York or like me from Atlanta or whatever. We all have different styles of construction where we're at. Like you got a lot of older homes on the East Coast and the Midwest, and down here we got a lot of new construction. And so it's good you're never going to know everything unless you're traveling around the whole United States dealing with every single different type of substrate. So it's important to get other people's input, you know?
Yeah, I got an invader here. My kid pops popped the lock and made his way down here. So
Oh, there
don't
you
mind the
go.
background
Bring him
noise.
on the show, man.
Yeah, right. Man, and it's a good point that you made because one of the things about teaching Get Ben Academy all over the country is while I've been teaching other operators, I've been learning a lot.
Oh yeah.
And it's really opened up my eyes to a whole new world as far as what is out there and what other operators have to deal with.
Hmm.
You know, case in point, you dealing with the barrel tiles and like what they deal with on the West Coast with those barrel tiles and those funky soffit returns. I don't want nothing to do with that. That's too complicated for me. I do it, but I'm charging a whole lot of money. If that was my day to day, oh my, I'd lose my mind.
Yeah, and it's like bacon in a big green egg, you know, uh, or a Dutch oven when you're on top of those roofs, man. You got like a limited time, and I think that's a pretty good price for your class, man. I mean, you get a handful of repairs and you're already getting paid back on that. So that's nothing, you know.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of information packed into 2 days, and it's like what you said. The course is $900. First job you go out there, you're gonna make that
Oh yeah.
guaranteed.
And you wouldn't have made it in as quick as you made it with the least amount of items if you didn't have the skill set. You'd still be, God forbid, shoving screen or foam and stuff. But that's our industry has evolved. There's people who
Right.
have evolved, and then, but as in terms of we're pushing the envelope to evolve it. People like you and I, but the majority of the industry has not evolved. There's still a very small number of people that are doing this, and so it's important to teach that skill and pass it on so it can stay alive.
Yeah. I mean, it really is. From what I've seen in the industry, as I've been in here, it's just transformed so much. Because
Hmm.
when I first started, that was you looked it up and you looked up any information. That was the thing. How do you do wildlife control? Foam and screen. You're putting wire mesh and foam and everything, and that was an accepted practice. Go ahead, do that now. You're gonna get bashed. It's
Don't put it on Facebook.
oh man. I won't shame you, but I will sit back and watch as the comments go and roll through. You know,
Oh
the
yeah.
yeah, but it's an evolving industry. It's still a young industry, and a lot of people don't know about us.
Hmm.
Jump back in before we were so rudely interrupted. All right, so we got cut off here because my cheap ass only got 30 minutes on Zoom, but we're back and we're gonna keep this rolling here. This has been an exciting exciting topic, talking about Wolf, talking about the conference coming up, getting to know you, Jay. And I really appreciate, you giving the time. There was one question that I did want to make sure that I asked you, and I think it's really important
Mhm.
to see, like, what's the vision, what's going to be the long-term goal of Wolf? What do we have to look forward to in the future for people that are going to be donating to this foundation?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think that we can only hope to never be able to have to turn anyone down due to a funding challenge. And we honestly, we haven't had that happen yet. But as awareness grows, we are going to need more people to help. More people are going to apply. And so it is my hope that we don't have to turn anyone down for any reason, other than obviously you have to qualify in order to be able to be helped. But my hope is that we get more awareness and we can help more people because so far I think we're at about 10 or 11 people that we've helped. Pretty considerable help, and we would love to be able to I mean, I'd love to be able to help hundreds of people, thousands of people. I think that's everybody's heart would probably be in that and would agree with what I'm saying, that we want to just our ultimate mission and goal is to help more people um, get involved with Wolf, with donating and contributing their time, and also being able to help more people and more families that are being affected by injury or illness.
Oh yeah, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that could have, in the past used help, or even through these past 2 years could have used help, but just didn't even know the foundation existed. So it's really important that people, you know, share this podcast and share information about Wolf and talk about it, so that this way we can get more people contributing and become a part of that Wolf family. Because let's face it, the wildlife industry, we're such a niche industry, and there's in comparison to the pest control industry or carpentry or you name roofing industry, you name the industry, we're such a small percentage in comparison to them. So we're we're definitely closer as an industry and a family, and we need to treat it as such. Our brothers and sisters in the wildlife industry, sometimes we have fall on the hard times, and if you have it in your heart, if you are able to or willing to, even if it's a small donation, one time donation, or you get on a monthly thing, you do something, because you never know when one of your friends in the industry or even yourself might need it. And
Mhm.
it's not just for that. We got to help each other, man. We got to look out for each other. I hope that we can reach other people outside the industry, that we can get other people donating to the cause as well. Because I mean, we service everybody. People get a wild animal in their house. People have a issue. We're the guys that they call, and we're the ones putting our neck on the line to go ahead up onto the roof and risk our lives to get these little adorable critters that can turn around and bite our face and jump out at us and you know cause permanent or fatal injury to us. So I mean, anybody who's anybody who feels like they want to help or contribute, if you're watching this, go on to the Wolf Foundation website. I'm gonna leave a link below, and we get we get those numbers up. We get more people donating. That's what it's gonna be all about. Because you never know who the Wolf Foundation is gonna be able to help.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that you hit it right on the head, the nail right on the head when you said people watching and listening to this. I think building more awareness through things like this is awesome. And thank you for thinking about that and for, you know, contributing your time and having me on. I really enjoyed talking about it and love what you're doing. Thank you for your contribution with your donations to Wolf, and looking forward to seeing you at AAC. And I'm looking forward to seeing the more of your podcast, man. Super proud of you.
Absolutely. So I mean, I want to keep this thing going. I don't know how often I'm going to do the podcast, but I do want to do some more podcasts. I really enjoy doing this. Um, I'd like to link up with innovators, other owners in the industry. You know, I'm looking for recommendations. So anybody's watching this, drop a recommendation down in the comment who we should interview next and have on the podcast. Don't
Mhm.
forget, guys, Wild Man's Wildlife. I'm gonna be covering all sorts of things, whether it's techniques, talking about what I'm doing in the field as far as for Wildman Wildlife Solutions, for Wildman Products, or for Get Band Academy. I'm going to be covering all types of subjects throughout the years. I look to grow this into something that's going to be a good resource for people to go to, and to learn about what we do in the industry, and not only educate other wildlife control operators, but also educate you know people all over the world about what we do. We're an industry that a lot of people, you say, hey, what do you do for a living? Oh, well, I'm a wildlife control operator. And you ever get that look from somebody like, what do
Oh
you
yeah,
do? Yeah. So we want to create more awareness for our industry, and, make sure that people know who we are, know what we do, know we're out here, and we're out here to help people. We're out here to solve wildlife problems, you know. So subscribe to Wild Man's Wildlife. You're gonna hit that bell or that like or whatever people do with subscribing. I'm still new to all this, but we're figuring it out as we go. But we
hit
want to
that
give
like button, right? You got to hit that like button too.
Yeah, that like button, that bell, that subscribe, all that stuff. Links are going to be down in the bio for the Wolf Foundation and for signing up for Get Ben Academy. I look forward to seeing you, Jay, at
You too,
the
man.
conference. We're going to have an awesome time, see some fireworks, and eat lots of food. And hopefully, we make a ton of money for the Wolf Foundation. Help some folks
Absolutely.
out.
God bless you, man. Thanks for having me. We'll see
Oh,
you
God
soon.
bless you and
All
all the
right.
work that you do.
Appreciate you, man.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
we're out of here.
Signing
Peace,
off.
guys.
See you, man.